Hello everyone. This is the news in 22 September 1995 about American Trump's $100,000 visa fee spurs confusion and chaos. Wall Street banks and tech companies, big and small, were scrambling on Saturday to figure out how their tens of thousands of employees would be affected by President Trump's proclamation imposing a $100,000 fee for visas granted to skilled fringe workers. The change set off immediate confusion over the exact rules and how they would be enforced. Shortly after Mr. Trump signed the proclamation on Friday, employees at Microsoft, Amazon, and JP Morgan received notice advising these with H-1B visas who were outside the United States to return before the new rules take effect at 12 and 1 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. The Trump administration sought to address the confusion on Saturday by saying that the fee would only apply to new applicants, and renewals or current visa holders would not be affected. In a post on social media, the White House said the change would not impact the ability of any current visa holders to travel from the U.S. Still, many executives, general counsels, and human resource departments, as well as their immigration lawyers, said they were coming down on the side of caution this weekend. Several companies and attorneys had already urged workers to return to United States as soon as possible. Many kept their eye glued on the White House social media accounts for any pertinent clarification. We acknowledge that this is an uncertain time for our people on H-1B visas and your families. Jacqueline Osher, head of human capital management at Goldman Sachs, wrote in a memo on Saturday to employees. The member said that Goldman was working with its lawyers to receive the specifics of the order as one more detail becomes available to communicate with your attorney. Bernd Muller, co-chair of the immigration practice group at Archdeacon, said he had been flooded with calls from executives and corporate board members about the new rules and how to communicate with employees about them. There's a lot of question marks all over this, he said earlier Saturday. We are still flying in somehow frigid conditions. Last Saturday, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service issued a memo underscoring that Mr. Trump's proclamation only applied prospectively to petitions that have not yet been filed. Still, the policy change represents a significant overhaul of how the United States distributes what are known as H-1B visas, the visas which play a crucial role in helping employers fill jobs in the tech industry and beyond, have been at the center of a deep immigration debate. Immigration hardliners contend that the visa program hurts Americans because companies have brought in foreign workers at lower wages, while many business leaders say the program helps American companies stay competitive. While House officials said the policy change would help ensure that companies were giving priority to hiring domestic workers, President Trump promised to put American workers first, and this common sense action does just that by discouraging companies from spamming the system and driving down wages. Tyler Rogers, a White House spokeswoman, said in a statement. But executives and industry trade groups said they worried about how the steep fee would affect business ability to fill critical positions. A spokesman for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce said the group was working with the Trump administration and its members to understand the full implications and the best path forward. We are concerned about the impact on employees, their families, and American employees, Matt Letourneau, a spokesman for the chamber, said in a statement. Amazon, Meta, Google, Apple, and Walmart, which are among the biggest users of H-1B visas, either declined to comment or did not respond to a request for comment. The change was widely expected to be met with lawsuit. Jeff Hofsey, the president of the American Immigration Lawyer Association, said the organization was working with other groups to file the legal challenge seeking a temporary restraining order as soon as this weekend. Mr. Hofsey said the organization had been making strategic calls over the weekend and working on finding plaintiffs who represent a wide range of industries. Benjamin Johnson, the executive director of the association, said the group's members were dealing with chaos as their clients have been scrambling to understand the change. I'm just hearing confusion and panic, he said. Although tech companies received the most H-1B visas, Mr. Johnson underscored that the new fee would also affect workers in the medical and manufacturing industries as well as universities who receive H-1B visas. The numbers of companies and industries where H-1B workers play a really critical role is incredibly broad, he said. Some workers who are currently abroad said they were unsure about how to immediately respond. A 29-year-old software engineer with a STEM H-1B visa set to begin in less than 20 days was checked into bed in his Munich apartment earlier Saturday when he realized he might be stuck in Germany. Speaking before the government's clarification. Speaking before the government's clarification on how the visa fee would be applied, the software engineer, who is an Indian citizen with a German work visa, said he felt clueless about how to proceed. He spoke on condition of anonymity because he was worried about his visa status. His company, he said, had told him to stay put. In its email to employees on Friday evening, Microsoft, which has roughly 5,200 employees in the program, said that workers currently in the United States should remain there for a foreseeable future, even if it interrupts future travel plans. The critical thing is to stay in the U.S. in order to avoid being denied re-entry, the adversary said. Some policy experts praised the Trump administration's change and said it would help ensure the companies are not suppressing wages or giving priority to hiring foreign workers over Americans. Laura Rice, the director of the Border Security and Immigration Center at the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank in Washington, said the 100,000 fee was a good start at reforming the H-1B program because it will make companies prioritize which foreign workers they want to hire. Americans aren't getting a fair shake at the opportunities because too many employers are bending the system, Mr. Rice said. But the policy change also raised concerns about the long-term impact on the U.S. economy and corporate America. Battery capitalists want that the change would add to concerns surrounding an uneven playing field, with only the nation's largest companies being able to pay the fees and secure an accession, as technology giants like Apple and Nvidia have already done with certain tariffs. The challenges of complying may be particularly acute for startups, many of which operate for years without raising profitability. There is no sign company that I had invested in the last 10 years that would afford to pay this, said the venture capitalist and private equity investor Adam Petrikov. The government caps H-1B visas at 85,000 a year, and visa holders can also bring in their immediate family in a related program. The visa majority are typically granted to Indian citizens. The Indian government issued a statement on Saturday and saying that it was still determining the full implication of the new visa rules, but the Ministry of External Affairs said this measure is likely to have humanitarian consequences by way of the disruption caused by families. Hope you have a good day and thank you for your listening.